This is my audience. Could you give up technology, or would you give up everything for technology? This is my persuasive speech on unplugging from technology. A couple of the sources that I used for this speech, one of them was sabbathmanifesto.org. They have a unplug day every year. This past year in 2012, it was March 23rd and the 24th. So midnight, from the 23rd of midnight till the 24th midnight. They didn't use any cell phones, internet, cable, computers. They just sort of unplugged and spent the time with friends and family, camping, eating and drinking, just doing other things besides using technology. Which I chose for the speech because I feel like I'm very credible, just because I know there's a lot of different things that I have experienced with technology. One of them would be one summer a roommate and I decided to get rid of cable because we both had 3 jobs and neither of us were home very often. So we had decided that it was pointless to pay for cable. So pretty much I ended up losing like 15 pounds that summer. I would go to work, I'd come home, I'd run, I would lay out by our pool, I'd swim, my roommate would come home, we'd spend time together, we might go on a run together, she would come out and lay out, we would go out with our friends. When we were in the house, a lot of the time, her and I had friends over, we would work out together inside. We did a lot of other things. I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of other things besides using technology. And it was great. I don't believe we had internet at the time either. So, you know, we ended up just pretty much, it was our cell phones. That was really the only like true technology we had really that summer. And a couple of the other things I've noticed too are just since I've had a cell phone and I use it for everything. My smartphone, I use the calendar on it, I use the alarm clock. My email comes to it. I use it for photos, for videos of my children. I upload everything to YouTube, to my email, to other people's emails. I use it for pretty much everything. You can always count on it will always be in my hand. It's the last thing I look at when I go to bed, and it's the first thing I look at when I get up. I used to keep it underneath my pillow. I think that was a security thing. I don't know why I didn't just keep it on like the nightstand, but for some reason it was more comforting to have it under my pillow. I know when I have gotten tattoos, it's been in my hand. When I've gone to the doctor, it's been in my hand. When I've gone to the dentist, I've kept it in my hand. I think all of those are a anxiety type thing. It's like a security blanket. It's a comfort to have it in my hand. And I know that there's probably a lot of others as well that when they don't have their phone and they can't see it right away, or they don't remember maybe where they put it, you get that sense of panic and you gotta find it. And it might just be in the bathroom or the last place you left it. And that's another thing. I know a lot of people that take it to the bathroom with them. They take it into the shower with them. I'm guilty of that as well. A lot of people have their cell phones 24/7. My dad is a business owner, and he has at least 2 phones on him at all times. And he's never not on one of them. He's always on it, no matter if it's family dinner, if he's at lunch with my mother, if he's in the car. If we go on family vacation, he brings a laptop and both of the cell phones, and he always is using them. I also know that there's a lot of like stress related with constantly having your email available to you. I know for me, a lot of the stress came from being with having school online and wanting to make sure that I wasn't missing anything or like an important date. There was a lot of anxiety associated with that for me and a lot of other things. I know that they say also from the numerous sources that I've used for this speech that it's a lot harder to go to sleep and to stay asleep and to wake up refreshed when you look at your cell phone right away before bed, when you use a laptop right away before bed, or when you're watching TV before bed. Just because of the artificial glow, it kind of gives you a feeling of, you know, the false light. It makes you think of daylight, and it tricks your mind into feeling like it needs to stay awake a little bit longer. It's the same thing you get when you sleep in a room that has a lot of light. You know, when you wake up as soon as the sun's up because of all the light that comes into the room. And it's very similar with a cell phone, that lighting, the television, anything else. A couple of the resources I used, like Teen Inc., StateHornet.com, Pew Internet, they all suggested that it wasn't a great idea to, you know, have a television in your room and to use any type of these media devices before you go to sleep, because it takes longer to fall asleep. It's harder to stay asleep. And I know that just from my own personal experience, because I know a lot of times I will watch TV before I go to bed. I'll look at Pinterest before I go to bed. I will be on my cell phone before I go to bed. And I'll fall asleep for a couple hours, and then I wake up at about 3 and I'm awake until about 7. And then I generally don't go back to sleep just because my children get up then. In the 1950s, you know, television was a newer thing then, and it was really neat for them to have one TV in their house, and it was awesome and the coolest new thing. And you can ask pretty much anybody these days, and they can tell you that they have at least 2 televisions in their house. I know we have 3, and one of them is not in use, but it would be if our basement was finished. The other one is in our bedroom. The other one's in the living room. The one in our bedroom is 47 inches, which for a television in your bedroom, I think that is a little absurd. I think a 32-inch, 37-inch, or, you know, whatever the smaller one is, I think that would be sufficient for a TV in a bedroom. But that's not up to me. So that's the size that we have. Along with the stress and the lack of sleep and the anxiety that you can get from all being plugged in all the time, there's also a lot of other things that we never had before, like sexting. We never had that. Now we do. I feel like online predators are rampant. Pedophiles, I know that we've probably always had them, but it seems like they're really bad now. Like, you hear about it all the time, and there's probably, you know, 10 sex offenders that live within your 2-block radius of your house. I know in Iowa, the registered offender list is at around 5,400, and that is just the ones that are registered. So that doesn't include anybody that's not, or anybody that was under the age of 20 when they committed any violations, any crimes. I know that a lot of people probably think it's absurd to contemplate, you know, trying to stay away from technology. And I'm kind of one of those people. I use Pinterest like all the time. I look at it every day almost, just for different things for my house or recipes for dinner that night or anything to do with my kids. Obviously, I use my cell phone all the time. I turn movies on for my children. I actually do not have Facebook. I do not have MySpace. That was a decision my husband and I made together, that we weren't going to have it. And at first we did have a little bit of like an adverse reaction, because in our board states, we would want to naturally look on our phones at Facebook or log in or see what was going on with everybody. But eventually we forgot all about it, and now we always joke because we tell everybody we're incognito. Nobody ever knows where we are or what we're doing, and it's nice. Before, everybody always knew where we were. Everybody always knew what we were doing. And we like it now that we're like off the radar and we just kind of do what we want, and it's nice. Nobody checks us into places, that type of thing. We don't miss knowing what's going on with everybody all the time. If we want to know, we just call them. So that was pretty much my persuasive speech. All in all, I think everybody would benefit from just sort of taking a step back and realizing that the technology is great and it's awesome to use, you know, but at the same time, a lot of us have become disconnected from our friends, seeing them face to face, hanging out with them, you know, playing volleyball, going outside. A lot of the time we end up just texting somebody, and that seems good enough. We don't call them and say happy birthday, we just text them happy birthday. Things like that. And I think a lot of people have gotten antisocial because of it. And that's pretty much just sums it up. I mean, there's a lot of health reasons in addition to just the fact that you should want to spend more time with your friends and your family, like in face-to-face interaction, rather than playing Words with Friends on your phone. I would rather see my friends and play Scrabble. That makes more sense to me. But anyways, in conclusion, I do think everybody should check out the sabbathmanifesto.org website, because you can like take a pledge or let other people know about it, and there are celebrities that do it. I think that it could be a really great thing for everybody just to take that time out to unplug from the media and the internet and phones and everything else. My audience.